infinite glory, honor, praises, majesty, might, power, wisdom, and thanksgiving unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Hadukakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of great millstone who rule and teach well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful and faithful elect across the four winds, bringing out this truth in sincerity and in charity to the best of their ability. Shabbat Shalom Akim, and to you few Akwath, Shabbat Shalom as well. The title of my lesson today is Unscrupulous Depredation. Unscrupulous Depredation. I want to look into the Webster's Dictionary, and the first word is unscrupulous, and it comes up as unprincipled. Synonyms and antonyms that are associated with the word scrupulous are cutthroat, immoral, unconscionable, unethical, having or showing no moral principles, not honest or fair. And pretty much this is where we're at right now, to this point, to this day. Esau Edom has been unscrupulous towards the children of light, towards Yasharallah, towards Jerusalem, towards Yahweh Yahweh Shai's chosen people. And he's also committed acts of depredation. Depredation. And the word depredation is, the definition is to plunder or to ravage. And that is exactly what has been happening to Yahweh Yahweh Shai's people all these many years, all this time. And this is what we ought to keep in mind as we continue to sigh and as we continue to cry for the abominations that are done thereof. As we continue to cry aloud and spare none and spare not. As we continue to stay upon our watchtowers, looking for the return of the one true King, looking for the return of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. We're going to start off here with Isaiah 10 and 1, and these are basically examples of how Esau Edom is being unscrupulous and the depredation towards the children of Israel, God's chosen people, Yahweh Yahweh Shai's chosen people. This is Isaiah 10 chapter in the first verse. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. The laws themselves, which we are governed by right now to this day, are grievous. These that Esau Edom have prescribed hold us back. One way in which they hold us back is through usury. Taxes have taxes. The taxes have taxes. That's just one point. Another point, we've been held down in slavery, and they continue to collect and make money from that, which they say we aren't in slavery, but as we know, the Emancipation Proclamation was simply a transfer of rights from one group to another, from one group to another, being that we went from being in slavery to these people to being in slavery to another people, but under a rules of a business, a corporation, which is how America is ran, namely modern day Babylon. This bitter place that we live in, America. America means bitter. From there, I want to go to Joel 3 and 3. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. It's self-explanatory, Akim. This is unscrupulousness and depredation at its finest. Looting and plundering, ravaging, attacking, not being honest or fair. From there, I want to go to Psalms 83 and 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Thy hidden ones are Yasharallah. Crafty counsel. We'll pull up the word crafty in the interlinear. The transliteration.
Strong's H6191. Aram.
Aram. To be subtle, be shrewd, be crafty, beware. Take crafty counsel, be prudent. To be crafty, be subtle. To be crafty, be or become shrewd. And this is how they deal with us in a business aspect as well as in their personal walks of life as well. You may not hear them, but under their breath, they're calling you all type of bad names and laughing behind your back and saying how ignorant, how stupid, and how dumb we are. Making sure that very next move is to use us whenever, wherever, and however they can for their own gain. Once again, Akim and Yufu Akwa, they're not honest or fair. Having or showing no moral principles, that's unscrupulous. An act of attacking or plundering is depredation. This is what we deal with on a daily basis, whether it's mental, physical, or spiritual, as well as financial. From there, I want to go to Habakkuk 2:15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken, also that thou mayest look on their nakedness. And Esau Edom came very crafty and very subtle, and turned the so-called black man, the so-called Negro, against one another, to the point where we kill up each other, to the point where we have no respect for one another. But when we're around Esau Edom, the so-called white man, we're a whole different character. It's a new person. You thinking to yourself, man, this guy, he don't act like that when he's around me. But as soon as he get around the so-called white man, I don't even know who is this guy, or who is she. They've taken crafty counsel against us, Akim and Yufu Akwa, to turn us against one another. Pit the old against the young, the light against the dark, the man against the woman against the man. These are some of their tactics. This is part of their unscrupulousness and part of their depredation. When I say that they put us thy bottle to him, are their philosophies, are their doctrines. Joining the police force, joining the military, when you're going to school and you gotta walk in line, when you gotta raise your hand. These are part of the bottle that they put to us and maketh him drunken, and maketh our people drunken. And now they look upon our nakedness. From there, I want to go to Numbers 35 and 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood is defiled the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. And the blood is Salakia. The land, the earth, is super saturated with the blood of Yasharallah. Super saturated. That means we might as well go ahead and get the word. Super saturated. Containing an amount of a substance greater than that required for saturation as a result of having been cooled from a higher temperature to a temperature below that at which saturation occurs. Basically, it's containing an amount of substance greater than that required for saturation. Basically, the blood has overwhelmed the earth. Basically, is what I'm getting at, Akim and Yufu Akwa. The only way for the earth to be cleansed, the land to be cleansed, is that Esau Edom's blood be shed. But as I said, they've taken crafty counsel against us. This is a part of their unscrupulousness and their depredation. From there, I'm going to Jeremiah 50 and 33. Thus saith Yahweh, Salakia. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. These people that took us are the same people, the Edomites. They just under a different name. And we continue to be oppressed right now to this day. Salakia. They refuse to let us go because we are held captive right now to this day. We just don't have chains around our ankles and chains around our necks. But we're still held captive, locked up in our minds. Those of us who haven't been able to escape. Those who haven't been brought to the light. This is Genesis 9 and 6. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of Yahweh made he man. And it's basically letting you know that Esau Edom has shed our blood, which goes back to the other precept that I brought out earlier about blood being in the land and it being having saturated the land, and that the only way that the land can be cleansed is through the blood being shed of Esau Edom. From there, I'm going to go to Nahum 3 and 1. Woe to the bloody city, is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. The children of Yasharallah are the prey, and we depart not. And the city is America, and it is full of lies and full of robbery. And it is a bloody city, as I continue to say, because so much of our blood has been shed here. And the prey, like I said, we are the prey, and we depart not. And then we are still counted brought as lambs to the slaughter till this day. I want to go from there to Ezekiel 35 and 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Yasharallah by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Even when our iniquity had an end, Esau Edom continued to shed our blood by the force of the sword. And they did it in the time of our calamity, when we are at our lowest, when we are at our weakest, when we are in need the most. Because of a perpetual hatred that they have for us. Not have for us. This word is perpetual. Salakiaki.
Strong's H5769. Olam. Olam.
Olam. Long duration. Everlasting. Evermore. Old. Ancient. This is the hatred that Esau Edom has for us. This is part of their unscrupulousness. This is part of their degradation. Want to look at Exodus 21 and 16. It says, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. And that's what we're looking to happen to Esau Edom, because he has stolen a man, and he has sold us through the transatlantic slave trade, transatlantic slave trade, as well as dealings in modern America to this day. People selling their soul for fortune and fame, what they call clout chasing, wanting to be the next big star. Whether it's a singer, a dancer, a rapper, a football, basketball, you name it. And it's mostly our people who are caught up in it. Jake. From there, we're going to go to Revelations, the New Testament, 13th chapter, 9th and 10th verse. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Esau Edom has killed with the sword, so he must be killed with the sword. Esau Edom has led us into captivity, so he's going to go into captivity. This is part of the unscrupulousness. This is part of the Esau Edom not being honest or fair, having or showing no moral principles, attacking and plundering Yahweh's people. From there, we're going to go to Psalms 10 and 9. He lieth and waits secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth and wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. How is Esau Edom drawing us into his net? With his doctrines, with his drink that he's gotten us drunken with. And then we stumble into his net, and then he's waiting secretly, waiting for us in his den. And then he devours us, takes advantage of us. And it's not fair, and he hasn't been honest. And he continues to show no morals or no principles. Only continues to attack and plunder us all the day long. He's a habitual offender when it comes to this. All our lives, from you coming to know that you are a so-called black person to you growing up now, to our people way back when, continue to be attacked, continue to be afflicted on a daily basis. Perpetually, that's the word. Perpetually, an ancient hatred for us. From there, I want to go to Ecclesiasticus 10 and 8. I'm going to jump to King James Version Bible. I was in the Blue Letter Bible. I'm going to jump to the King James Version. This is Ecclesiasticus 10 and 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. This is part of the unscrupulous depredation that I speak of right now. Agua. Unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. You getting riches by deceit. That's having or showing no moral principles. That's not being honest or fair. I'm going to jump back over to the Blue Letter Bible and go in Daniel's, the 7 and 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. He's changed the times. Before, it wasn't no this Gregorian calendar. It wasn't no Monday through Sunday. It wasn't no January, February. That's all Esau's made up. Shabbat on a Friday and Saturday. That's all made up things. This is how he's wearing out the saints of the Most High, and to think to change times and laws, adding unto the book, taking away from the book, hiding stuff, being dishonest, lying constantly. We're gonna go from there to Joel 3 and 6. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Far from our border. Our border is Jerusalem. That's Jerusalem. They've taken us. We've been extradited from our own land. Kicked out. Sold to other nations. Not of our own will. Forced. Let's look at 2 Peter 2 and 19 in the New Testament. While they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption. For of whom a man is overcome, of the same as he brought in bondage. We've been overcome by Esau Edom, and we've been brought in bondage. They themselves are the servants of corruption. Esau Edom is corrupt. He knows nothing but to be corrupt. But they promise us this. They promise us that. Oh, I'm going to do this for you. Oh, buddy, we're going to, you can believe it. You can count on me, and give you the thumbs up. But the whole time he got his other hand behind his back with his fingers crossed. Being conniving. Being slick. Being shrewd. Being subtle. Seeking whom he may devour. And he has been devoured. Yahweh Yahweh's children. His promised ones. His chosen ones. Salakia. His chosen ones. Let's go from there to Isaiah, 1st chapter, 7th verse. Your country is desolate, your cities are burned with fire, your land, strangers devour it in your presence, and it is desolate, as overthrown by strangers. The strangers are Esau Edom, and our cities are in Jerusalem, and they're burned with fire, and the strangers have devoured it in our presence. And it is desolate now. These are things that have taken place. These are things that continue to take place, even now in modern day. Let's look at Amos 1 and 11. Thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually. There's that word again, perpetually. And he kept his wrath forever. Forever is ever, ever, ever. Ancient. He's hated us. He continues to hate us to this day. That's part of his unscrupulousness. That's part of his depredation. Having and showing no moral principles. Not honest or fair. Once again, I can't continue to elaborate on anymore. That's exactly what he's been doing to us all our lives. Let's look at Zephaniah 1 and 12. And it shall come to pass at that time that I will search Jerusalem with candles, and punish the men that are settled on their leaves, that say in their heart, Yahweh will not do good, neither will he do evil. And it's not only goes for Esau Edom in this text, it's twofold. It goes for Jakes as well, because Jakes have been brainwashed. Brainwashed means they've been drunken off of these doctrines and philosophies of Esau Edom so long that they're blinded. They can't see, nor can they hear. Their ears have been stopped up and their eyes have been closed. And they think that our Father Yahweh is not returning. They think that Yahweh Shai is not coming back. They say Yahweh will not do good, neither will he do evil. And that's not true. Our power, Yahweh Shai, is a power of war. And when he returns, he will not meet them as a man. Salakia. Let's go to Ezekiel 9 and 4. And Yahweh said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh, and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And this is us, Akim and Yufu Akwa. Salakia, this is us, Akim. And this is our job, to be watchmen and to cry and sigh for the abominations that be done thereof. So we could get that mark of exemption. We need to continue to trust in Yahweh Shai. Continue to believe with all our hearts. Continue to stay prayed up. Continue to stay steadfast in the ministry. Continue to sing the correct song. Continue to be brotherly towards one another. Continue to study to show ourselves approved. Continue to edify, exhort, and as well as expose Esau Edom for all of his wickedness. I want to go back to the King James Version and go to 2nd Ezra 12 and 42. For all the prophets, thou only art left us, as a cluster of the benches, and as a candle in a dark place, and as a haven or ship preserved for the tempest. The prophets are the cluster, the prophets are the vintage, and the prophets are the light that shine in the dark. And we are a haven for those who seek the truth, for those who want to be edified, for those who look for exhortation, those who look for the truth, looking for Yahweh Shah Mashiach to open their eyes and to open their ears, to be turned from their sins, to repent, namely the hopeful elect. The passage I'm going to end it on is Isaiah, the 10th chapter, in the first and second verse. In the Old Testament, Isaiah, the 10th chapter, the first and second verse. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. And this is exactly what Esau Edom has continually been doing. Grievousness which they have prescribed. Through the school systems, through the jail systems, taking the father out of the household, low-paying minimum wage jobs, putting drugs in our community, putting poison in the water, putting guns in the community, you name it. Calling you 2/3 a human being, not giving you a full vote when you vote, expecting for you to vote when that's wrong in itself as well. Telling you, oh, you can be a Democrat or whatever the other one is, or capitalist or this, that, and the other, when the whole while they're all confederate against us. And they mean us no good. And any way in which way they can shape it or slice it, we will never come out on top as long as it pertains to them. When the wicked are in rule, let's get it. Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And that's exactly what we're doing right now, Akim. We're mourning. We're in the house of mourning right now. It says in the second verse of Isaiah 10 chapter, to turn aside the needy from judgment. Nothing goes in our favor. And to take away the right from the poor of my people. Taking away the right from the poor of Yahweh Shai's people. Doing everything that they can to see our demise, to see our downfall, to see us be destroyed. Whether they do it or whether they sit back and watch us do it to ourselves. With that, I'm going to end this lesson. I hope that this has been edifying. And I'm going to say Shabbat Shalom to you, Akim, and you, few Akwal, and say keep pushing. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Call Halal Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Abal Babal, Akwam Yashrala, Akim, and you, few Akwal, Akwam Yashrala. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Keep pushing.